I hereby call to order this meeting of the King George County Service Authority Board of Directors. I want to apologize once again to everyone here in the audience, as well as those who are now able to hear and see us online. We experienced some technical difficulties that resulted in a delayed start of the meeting. And with that, Mr. Parker will lead us off with the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Mr. Miller. Please stand. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice. Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. Miller, do we have any amendments to the agenda?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Public comment. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes per person in order to afford everyone an opportunity to speak. If comments relate to a specific public hearing item, we ask that you offer those comments at the time of the public hearing. And as a reminder, please state your name and address prior to providing your comment. Do we have anyone here in the audience wishing to provide public comment? All right, seeing none, Mr. Dines, do we have anyone online wishing to provide public comment? No. All right, directors, did anyone receive correspondence wishing to be read into the record? No? All right, I'll now close public comment and I'll move on to reports of members of the board. Mr. Parker.
I just want to thank the members of the Service Authority. They went above and beyond for one of the ladies out in Hop Yard. She's having issues that are unrelated to the Service Authority's sewer lines, but they went above and beyond helping her to make sure that our lines weren't the issue.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Morris?
Yes, ma'am. I received a phone call from Supervisor Stonehill after the Freelance Star article about our safe water grant from the state. He had some questions and was looking for some general information, and I got him up to speed on all that.
Very good. Ms. Bender?
No report, thank you.
Ms. Cleveland?
No report.
Thank you. And I too want to express my thanks to the Service Authority staff, again, as Mr. Parker stated, for assisting the customer in Hop Yard. Thank you very much for that. And we'll move on to consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion, we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries. All righty, report from County Attorney. Mr. Britton, can you hear us, sir? Mr. Britton, once again, can you hear us, sir? Mr. Miller, could you send him a message, ask him if he has any items for his county attorney report, please? All right, thank you, Mr. Britton. It's my understanding you do not have any items for your county attorney report, and I appreciate your patience. We'll move on to approval of the Service Authority CIP action item SA 1105. Mr. Miller.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. As you recall, at the last meeting, the last board meeting, we had a presentation and a discussion about the Service Authority, the financial condition of the Service Authority that was provided by the folks from Davenport and Associates. And also in that presentation was a discussion of some of the proposed items for the 22-26 CIP. And some of these were put obviously together by Mr. Weekly before he left. And so you have seen these in some capacity at the last meeting. There are some additions, and I was hoping to get this on here so that we can get to work on some of these items. Gratefully, you gave us authority to go ahead on the Perkins Corner wastewater treatment plant decommissioning to start the engineering phase with an RFP, and that process is in works right now. So you can see when you look at the proposed CIP, it was there it is. There are a total of about a little over $3 million worth of projects in FY22. The large increase in FY23 is because of the $5 million water resources project. Remember that is a grant, and so there would be revenue that would offset that cost. We will incur costs as we go along, and then we will be reimbursed on a cost incurred basis. The decommissioning of Perkins is scheduled to be a 3-year project, $600,000 in this year, in this current fiscal year, $1,523, and then $1,524. And I think that one of the things that has been asked of me is when we do the work on the decommissioning, are we going to be doing work simultaneously with making water connections and sewer connections to Hop Yard? And the answer would be yes. That would be something that we will include in our RFP that is out, but also something that we would want to make sure that we have the adequate coverage for that. So you can see that the item that says water system interconnections, that would be what that's going to account for. There are a couple of new projects that I did run by Kyle and the folks at Davenport to make sure that we could get some equipment. One is a used dump truck for about $50,000. That's in the FY22 capital budget. And then in 23 and in we have two projects, two equipment purchases. One is a vac/pump truck, and that's $325,000. Those are max numbers. Those are not things that we are necessarily saying that that it's gonna rise up to be that amount, but it is something that would be we would want you to know about. We also have a ditch witch pressure vac excavating trailer at $115,000 in next year's budget as well. So those are the only differences that exist in what you saw at the last meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Questions from directors?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Ms. Bender.
Okay, I have a question on Hop Yard Farm upgrades. I just want to make sure, so when we made the upgrades to bring Perkins Corner there, is it also at the same time to do the upgrades so that Oakland Park eventually could be, because I see it in 2024, but it would make sense to do the upgrades so both of them come at the same time.
It was presented to me that you would concentrate first on Perkins Corner. Oakland Park is still in a good, I don't know if I want to use the word good shape, but it is in a place where you can operate without all the problems. So I think that was why Mr. Weekly had phased it the way he phased it. I don't know. Travis, were you involved in any of this, or Dean, did you?
You're correct, Dean. I didn't phrase it properly, understanding that,
Thank you.
so they will be done that way so that it,
Definitely, we would time it and do it in a way that would take care of that need that you're talking about.
right? I just think that would be the more cost effective to do it at the time you're doing one as opposed to doing it 2 years down the line.
Yes.
Thank you.
Ms. Cleveland? Thank you. Mr. Morris? Mr. Parker? All right, I don't have any questions. So with that, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion, we accept the proposed Service Authority 2022 to 2026 capital improvement project as presented.
Second.
Friendly amendment. Can we say adopt?
Oh,
Adopt.
okay, adopt.
Yeah, adopt. Thank you.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carries. All right. General Manager's report. Mr. Miller.
All right, let's see what we have up there. All right, so there are 4 or 5 things, I guess. One is we have a meeting with our VACORP rep scheduled for Monday. As you recall, I've been talking in previous general managers' reports about the fact that we had a representative from VACORP, which is our workers' comp, come and do an assessment of the facilities that we have with the service authority, and they're going to discuss their findings. We're going to involve all the upper brass, if you will, Dean and Patty and our 2 managers of water and maintenance. They'll be involved in the meetings. Amanda and myself will be there. We're also going to bring in Dave Moody, our fire and rescue chief, to get him involved, because there is going to be some opportunities for some interdepartmental training, if you will, especially in confined spaces, because the fire department, fire and rescue just completed that. And we are in need of doing a lot of those kind of things. So there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be discussed. And the VACORP folks will also be providing us with an overview of training that will address some of these needs as well. So on the second item, 54 water and sewer residential connections sold year to date. 2 of those were commercial water and sewer connections. And some information that Ms. Norris Barker provides. And then we have total bills that were distributed this last September, 4,320, 4,320. And there were 233 turnoffs as of November 3rd, which was last Wednesday. And then Patty had also worked to set up 40 promises to pay and, kind of payment plans on that. I will inform you that the CARES Act money for this year is $180. That's it. So not really much left to help anybody. But I'll let you also know that we did get notification, and we will have it at your next board meeting for the award for the next round. What was it, 142 or something like 142,000? So that'll allow people to qualify for that if they're still in that category where they need help. November employee anniversaries, something I want to provide on a monthly basis is just the employees that are celebrating anniversaries. Dee Pritchett, 15 years on the 16th. Next week with the Service Authority, and Dean, who's back there, Dean Hugland, 4 years, celebrates it on the 20th. The last item I would mention is the status of the superseding consent order and also the proposed consent order. So those are two consent orders. The first one is the superseding consent orders that you all took action. I think it was one of the things that Mr. Weekly did on his last actions here. We have complied with that consent order, done everything we needed to do on that. So want to make sure you're okay with that. We had to clean up a little bit of some of our submissions to to the DEQ on that, and so they worked with us on that. The proposed consent order, we sent our response on the 5th of November, and we are just awaiting a response from the DEQ on that. I'm certain that there will be some things that they come back on. Primarily, one of the things that we asked for was a exemption from the civil penalty that they wanted to impose, and then also asking for alternatives to the infrastructure that they wanted us to put in at the Perkins Corner plant. So we'll see how it goes. We'll keep you apprised of that, and if anything of any significance comes on that.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Any questions of Mr. Miller from directors? Mr. Parker?
No questions, ma'am.
Mr. Morris?
No questions.
Ms. Bender? Ms. Cleveland?
No question, just congratulations to the employee anniversaries.
And I don't have any questions either, but I second that. And I see Mr. Hoagland is here in person. Thank you very much. All right, with that, I will entertain a motion.
I move that the King George County Service Authority Board of Directors convene in a closed meeting pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A8 for the purpose of consultation with legal counsel employed or retained by a public body regarding a specific legal matter requiring the provisions of legal advice from such counsel, and State Code Section 2.2-3711A1 regarding the assignment, appointment, performance, salaries, or specific public officers, appointees, or employees, namely the interim general manager, and wastewater manager positions. I invite the interim general manager, county attorney, county engineer, and human resources director because they are deemed necessary and/or their presence will reasonably aid the board in its consideration of the topics to be discussed pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3712F.
Yes, he did. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries. We are in closed session.
Authority Board of Directors return to public meeting and certify by vote that only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed session meetings were heard, discussed, or considered during the closed meeting.
Second.
Each member so certify.
Alan Parker, so certify.
James Moore, so certify.
So certify.
Carrie Cleveland, so certify.
Annie Kupka, so certify. We are in open session. Do I have another motion, please?
I make a motion, we adjourn until November 23rd, 2021 at 5:30 PM here in the boardroom.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries. We are adjourned.